The young monk was restless and bored. He'd been living in the monastery for 3 years, but he felt no joy or peace in his life. He wondered what was the point of meditating, chanting, and following the rules. He wanted to explore the world, have fun, and find love. One day, he decided to sneak out of the monastery and go to the nearby village. He put on some ordinary clothes and walked along the road feeling excited and curious. He saw many people, animals, and things that he had never seen before. He felt a surge of energy and excitement. He came across a market where he saw many stalls selling different kinds of goods. He was fascinated by the colors, smells, and sounds. He walked around, looking at everything with wonder. He saw a stall that sold books and he felt drawn to it. He picked up a book that had a catchy title, The Way of the Superior Man. He opened it and read the first page. It said, "The way of the superior man is not for the faint of heart. It is a path of courage, challenge, and growth. It is a path that requires you to embrace your purpose, embody your masculine energy, cultivate deep presence, honor your word, embrace challenges and discomfort. Embrace your sexuality, embrace the feminine, practice radical honesty, embrace your emotions, and live with purposeful action. It is a path that will lead you to your true self, your true power, and your true love." The young monk felt a spark in his heart. He felt that this book was speaking to him directly. He wanted to know more. He looked at the price tag and saw that it was too expensive for him. He had no money with him. He felt a pang of disappointment. He looked around and saw that no one was watching him. He felt a temptation to steal the book. He thought that no one would notice or care. He thought that this book was meant for him. He reached out his hand to grab the book. Suddenly, he felt a hand on his shoulder. He turned around and saw an old monk standing behind him. The old monk had a calm and serene expression on his face. He looked at the young monk with compassion and wisdom. "Hello, my son," the old monk said. "I see that you are interested in this book." The young monk felt a shock of fear and guilt. He recognized the old monk as his teacher, who had taught him many things in the monastery. He wondered how he had found him here. "Master," the young monk stammered, I was just looking at it." The old monk smiled gently. "I know," he said, "and I also know what you were about to do." The young monk lowered his head in shame. "I'm sorry, master," he said. I don't know what came over me." The old monk nodded. "I understand," he said. "You are young and curious. You are searching for something more in your life. You are drawn to this book because it promises you something that you think you lack." The young monk looked up at him. "What do you mean?" he asked. The old monk took the book from his hand and opened it. "This book," he said, "it teaches you some valuable lessons about being a man, but it also has some limitations and dangers." The young monk listened attentively. "What are they?" he asked. The old monk pointed at each lesson in the book and explained them to him. "Embrace your purpose," he said. "This is a good lesson. You should have a clear sense of purpose in your life, something that aligns with your values and passions. But you should also remember that your purpose is not fixed or static. It can change and evolve as you grow and learn more about yourself and the world. Embody your masculine energy," he continued. "This is also a good lesson. You should embrace and embody your masculine energy, which includes qualities like strength, decisiveness, and assertiveness. But you should also balance this energy with sensitivity and compassion. You should not use your masculine energy to dominate or harm others, but to serve and protect them. Cultivate deep presence," he went on. "This is another good lesson. You should be fully present in each moment, especially when you are with someone you care about. You should practice mindfulness and deepen your awareness to fully engage with others. But you should also be aware of your own needs and boundaries. You should not lose yourself in others or neglect yourself. Honor your word," he said next. "This is an important lesson. You should keep your word and follow through on your commitments. This builds trust and respect in your relationships. But you should also be flexible and adaptable when situations change. You should not be rigid or stubborn when it is not necessary or beneficial. Embrace challenges and discomfort, he said further. This is a valuable lesson. You should step outside your comfort zone and face challenges that help you grow and learn. You should embrace discomfort and use it as a catalyst for personal transformation. But you should also be mindful of your limits and resources. You should not push yourself too hard or too fast, or risk harming yourself or others. Embrace your sexuality, he said then. This is a vital lesson. You should embrace and understand your sexuality, which is a natural and powerful part of you. You should cultivate sexual energy, express it authentically, and explore the depths of intimacy with your partner. But you should also be respectful and responsible with your sexuality. You should not use it to manipulate or exploit others, or to escape from your problems. Embrace the feminine, he said afterwards. This is a significant lesson. You should appreciate and understand the feminine energy, both within yourself and in your relationships. You should honor and support the women in your life, who are your partners, friends, sisters, mothers, and teachers. But you should also be aware of the differences and challenges that come with the feminine energy. You should not try to change or control it, but to accept and complement it. Practice radical honesty, he said finally. This is an essential lesson. You should be open and honest in your communication, expressing your truth with compassion and vulnerability. This creates intimacy and connection in your relationships. But you should also be tactful and considerate with your honesty. You should not use it to hurt or offend others, or to avoid accountability. The old monk closed the book and handed it back to the young monk. These are the lessons that this book teaches you, he said. They are good lessons, but they are not enough. They are not the ultimate truth, they are only pointers to the truth. The young monk looked confused. What do you mean? He asked. The old monk smiled. My son, he said, you have been living in the monastery for 3 years, but you have not learned the most important lesson of all. The young monk felt curious. What is it? He asked. The old monk leaned closer to him and whispered in his ear. The way of the superior man, he said, is to be a Zen monk.